in order to show you guys what it's like to have different sort of curtain walls and the way how we can manipulate them so we can end up with, let's say, the target sort of glass type or curtain wall or storefront that like we're looking for, you just like have to go through the architecture, go with wall, and there among these walls that are already provided there, I would say under the curtain wall, you can see curtain wall, exterior glazing, and storefront. Technically, all of them are the same. However, we will be able to put on like a curtain wall and develop that curtain wall all the way to the storefront. So curtain wall, let's put on some curtain wall and see what it's like to have an curtain wall. So as you can see, this is the curtain wall, which is pretty basic, meaning that we only having one panel. Any like sort of mullions is not existing so far, right? And also we are not having any sort of grid. So grids, mullions, anything is not there. We're only having one simple glass panel. That's what we call a curtain wall. Now, if I go back again on the wall, and this time go with the exterior glazing and draw some exterior glazing just next to that curtain wall that we have, you can see the difference between the curtain wall and exterior glazing. As you can see, according to the setup that we have, we're having multiple glass panels, and between them are those sort of like grids. So those are the grids. However, there is no sort of like mullions or like profiles yet getting assigned to it. So this is like the definition of like pretty basic glazing wall. I would say sort of like a same curtain panel, but with more than one panel, or let's say with more than one sort of, I would say, grids on it. So that's the way how the exterior glazing. Now let's get to the last part of these curtain walls, and this is the final product of the curtain wall, which we call it storefront. So if we choose a storefront, and again model the same next to all those sort of curtain walls that we have, you can see this storefront. So as you can see, the difference between that, I would say, storefront and the rest is that we're having something called mullions, right? Or we're having more than one sort of like glass panels in a way that we didn't have it actually on the exterior. So those are three types of, I would say, curtain walls that we're supposed to know how to make the transition between them. So suppose that I want to have sort of like a specific or special setup on a storefront wall, but like I want to start from pretty basic from an curtain wall. So right now I'm going to show you guys what to do to set up your curtain wall in a way that you can end up with an pretty customized storefront, which is pretty important. So to do so, I'm going to go again with wall here. And among the curtain walls that I have, I'm going to get stick to the curtain wall. This time, before like starting to model up the curtain wall, I'm going to go to the edit type. And as same as other walls, first we're supposed to duplicate the curtain wall that we have. So I'm going to go there, place or like just click on the duplicate and simply put on an name for it. For example, curtain wall, I'm just gonna put C as, so I remember as the customized one. So gonna click on OK here, and then here you're having like some type of the options that are like important to know. But like before like turning that into an exterior glazing or storefront, I would say you wouldn't like be able to know like much more about those. So I would suggest to simply scroll down. So then you can see from here that we yet like are not having any sort of vertical grid or horizontal. So to turn this curtain wall into an exterior glazing or in storefront, first we need to have a vector. I would say vertical grid or horizontal grid. So I'm going to go there. And for example, I'm going to go with the fixed distance. Suppose that the wall that I want to have is going to be, I would say, like 6 meters in length. And then in terms of height is going to be, I would say, like 3.20. So that's sort of like the wall dimension that I'm going to. So I'm going to go there, and I want to have like the grids on each and every 60 centimeters. So I'm going to put on 0.60 here. Then I'm going to go with the horizontal one, and I'm going to have like 3 layers of the, I would say, horizontal. So those are the vertical ones. These are the horizontal. So among the horizontal ones, I still want to go with the fixed distance, but like since the level of the wall is going to be 3.20, I'm going to divide that by 3. So that would be kind of like around, I would say, if we can actually put on an equal symbol there, and then 3.20 divide by 3. That's the easiest way. So as you can see, this is the value that we're supposed to have to actually have 3, I would say, rows of those glass panels. So we're all good here. Next is to set up the Mullions on. So once you're having the grids, then I would say like the grids are the essential step. So then the vertical or the horizontal Mullions can technically get on them. So you wouldn't be able to add any sort of Mullions unless you're having a grid already there. So since we are having the grids on, now it's time to only choose the type of the profile. So among them, I'm going to just stick to the 50 times 150 millimeters, sort of like a rectangular Mullion. I'm just going to simply select them for all the borders and like the interior types we have, both for the vertical ones and the horizontal ones. Make sure to choose the same. Once this is done, you're actually all good to go, meaning that all the setup that you need to have like in storefront out of like in keratin wall is already set up. So I can click on OK, and then I'll make sure that my level is from level 1 to level 2, right? So the height is 3.20, and then the starting point of the wall in the same direction, I wish to have 6 meters. So as you can see, let me just like get out of this wall. So as you can see, pretty clear, we're having every 60 centimeters, one panel getting on, and also like overall 3 different rows of the glass panels on the height, right? That's like what I planned to have. So that's the way how you can set up an storefront out of like an keratin wall. Now let's see what are the features and stuff that like we would be able to get our hands on, so then like we can customize this wall much more. First of all, like what I wish to show you guys is like the corners. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put down on the thin line. Here, like one thing that we can see is that we're not having the borders for the verticals already placed. So something is wrong with that. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select that, I'm gonna go on to the edit type and see what's wrong with the borders. As you can see, the borders are not perfectly set up. So I'm gonna go with there and make sure to put that on 50 times 150, right? Click on apply. And as you can see right now, all my Mullions are all with the same style. So one thing that I, for example, want to manage is the corner part. So what if you want to have this junction in an other way, meaning that instead of like getting cut there, you want that Mullion to be all the way continuous and the vertical one getting cut. So what you can do is select that Mullion and start using make continuous or break at joint. For example, if I use break at joint, as you can see, that is getting cut, right? Or you can do so here. So at every single junction, you will be able to cut any sort of Mullions that you wish or make any other type continuous. That's the way how it works, either with that symbol or up there. That is like number one thing that you guys need to know. Also, once you be able to select an keratin wall from the corner parts, right? As you can see, it's getting highlighted. So once you select that one, you will be able to adjust some sort of like a modification in terms of the vertical or horizontal. So what if I want to have this within rotation? So I would say I want that to be 30-degree rotated. That's the way it could be. Also, the other part to be rotated too. See? So you guys will be able to technically rotate the pattern and like make much more customized, I would say, curtain walls or storefront out of like what you already set up. Here, since I want to just stick to what I had, I'm just going to remain with like zero rotation. Then another important thing that I wish to share with you all is that what if I want to do more customized stuff? So let's say that is, let's say the basic pattern that the, I would say pretty preliminary setup that I wish to have overall for my storefront. Now I wish to add, I would say like some glass doors or like remove some of like those panels or do some sort of like these stuff modification. Now, to do so, we need to be able to adjust or modify the grid lines and the mullions at the same time. So since this setup that right now we're aiming to do is like partially or like at some spot and it's not something general, I'm not going to use any sort of like properties or like tabs here. I'm just going to focus and zoom into the corner that I wish to make some change. For example, number one change that I wish to do is that I wish to eliminate these sort of like mullions and only have one unified panel here, which either might be empty or glass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that mullion and you can unpin that. So you unpin that, or that is like number one thing that you can do. Let's do that once. So once you unpin that, you will be able to delete that. Same you can do with the other one and then get rid of it. Also, you can do the same thing with the horizontal. But like to make it much more easier, what I suggest is instead of like getting these mullions unpinned and then delete them, what I suggest is to get rid of the grid line. If like the grid line is not there, I would say at the first place, then the mullions would automatically be removed. So this time, what I'm going to do, I'm trying to just simply bring my point viewer on one of these mullions and then press tab, I would say times, like more than once, so then you can choose the grid line. Since right now I have my hands on the grid line, I'm going to click on there. And once you have the grid line already selected, you can go up there from add remove segment. From there, once you click on there, wherever that you select from now on, those grid lines there would be removed. So I'm going to click once there and the other time here. So as you can see easily, I'm not having those mullions on it. I'm going to do the same thing for here. Again, bringing my point here on those mullions and start to press tab until I see the grid line. Select the grid line, go again up there, use the add remove segment, and again click there. So as you can see, that grid line also log removed. Overall, the grid line is still existing, but nothing is existing on this panel. Now I can bring my point viewer to one of these corners, again press tab, click, so then you can have the panel on. Now that I'm having the panel on, I will be able to scroll down from here and choose whether like I wish to have like an empty panel like that, or again, let's choose the panel. Actually, like there is no panel here, but still you can choose like the panel. Or you can put in solid panel here. For example, if you wish to have something solid, right? So that is the way how you guys are supposed to add or remove any sort of mullion. The other thing that I wish to show you is that what if you want to get rid of like some panels and then add some other to them? So here, let's say instead of like removing any other mullions or like panels, I wish to add some more grid lines or some more mullions. To do so, you just go up there from the architecture tab and you have keratin grid, right? You also have mullions, but like in in order to have the mullions on, first you need to have the keratin grid replaced. Then you will be able to put on the mullion. So I'm going to click on the keratin grid. Then, as you can see, I'm having all segments, one segment, or all except fit. So depending on your intention, whether like I want to have all the way from down to up, all mullions getting placed, you can go with all segments. If you wish to only work with one panel, then you have to go with one segment. And if you wish to have, let's say, the mullions on, but like not on some specific or particular panels, then I would suggest to go with the all except fit. So here, for example, I want to go with all except thick. To add an horizontal mullion or grid line, you have to go to the vertical border. However, to add an vertical one, you have to go to the horizontal border. That's like a rule. I would say I wish to add an grid line with some mullions here on this panel and get rid of like some panels intention. So as you can see, I'm already on all except thick. I'm gonna click there. One red line shows up, right? Now, whatever sort of panel that you click there, you actually eliminating the mullions there. So I'm assuming that here I'm not gonna have the mullion. Again, nothing is gonna happen here. Same to here. Once you selected those specific panels, then you get out of the order by clicking on modify. So as you can see, you're having the mullions on except those panels. So that's the way how you can add as much as like more mullions that you wish, or getting removed with them, right? Like if like I select one of those keratin grids and simply go with the add remove and click on there, you will be able to get out of those keratin grid or the movie. So that's the way how you can have like a customized storefront. Then the last thing that you guys need to know in regards to the keratin walls or the storefront, I would say is how you guys can add an I would say glass door walls, which is actually pretty tricky. And most of the time people are having like some hard time with it. So, for example, if you wish to add an glass door, if you want to go through the component icon that we have door, it's somehow not like that convenient to go there and choose the door single panel or door double glass for the storefront. Because most of the time, Revit wouldn't allow you to insert that component in Revit. So instead of that, I would suggest to manually go through the address that you're having all the Revit components already accumulated there, like this address. This is the address that, like, on a default basis, the Revit components or like the library of Revit is existing. So from there, what I do is to manually try to get my hands on the door, I would say like glass double panel that I wish to have on my project. So suppose that this is the one, so I select that and double click on it. So automatically that component will show up in Revit under a different sort of template, which is the family. Like we yet like are not working with this sort of like template, just like the fact that we have that glass door already open here. So what I'm gonna do is load that into our project. So once you load that into your project, then you go all the way to the 3D. And suppose that I wish to have that glass door panel with this specific panel or replace them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the corner, press on tab until I get my hand on this panel. And here, from that panel, you can scroll down till you find the M door keratin wall double storefront. You choose that, and automatically, as you can see, perfectly clear, that door glass will get placed on your store. And also, if you go to the level 1, you can also see the I would say like door symbol getting automatically up there. So that's very important, and like most of the time people are having hard time. So I would say that is like most likely everything that you need to know in regards to the curtain wall or storefront.
So I hope you guys find this video useful, and please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done it yet, as I'm always constantly updating the contents to make sure that you guys are getting to learn new stuff and tricks. Thank you.